So I guess it's safe to say that this is the king of budget
Oh
pads.
yeah, 110%.
Hey guys, this is Gus.
And Carlos from Hardware Unplugged.
And today we'll be checking out the Ikea LåneSpeLare mouse pad. Before we get started, please make sure you hit that like button to show support. And if you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe. That being said,
let's begin.
Come here. Go here now.
I'm happy.
That guy's cracked.
Down. I'm trying to get the flag.
Hey, he's flesh.
He's down. Careful. The man.
There.
Have fun here. There you one.
Carlos, right in front of you guys.
Over the years, we have reviewed many mouse pads, and it seems like more now than ever, the quality and price of mouse pads have all gone up, which is a good thing depending on how you see it. A good quality mouse pad can run you for a minimum of $30, not including the shipping. But not everyone is willing to spend that kind of money for a piece of cloth. Most gamers, believe it or not, will likely use something like a Xten K or a Corsair mouse pad, spend around 10 to 25 bucks and call it a day. So I would have never guessed out of all the places Ikea would have made a mouse pad so good that it takes the crown as the best budget mouse pad currently on the market. Now I know what you're thinking. Is this a meme? No, far from it. Now we can't take credit for finding this gem, as a YouTuber called Good Enough Tech Reviews informed us and his audience about this mouse pad and how amazing it is. Video in the description down below. If you're a regular on the channel, you know that we're the kind of people that have to try a product if it sounds too good to be true. And let me tell you, it's true. The Ikea LåneSpeLare is a great mouse pad in terms of quality, durability, and price. Before we give you our thoughts, let's get some specifications out of the way about the Ikea LåneSpeLare mouse pad. The Ikea LåneSpeLare is a collaboration mouse pad with none other than Asus ROG, which is quite surprising as they have no branding or advertising on the mouse pad. All you get is a sticker on the back of the mouse pad labeled Ikea LåneSpeLare. That's it. No ugly gamer branding at all. Ikea describes the surface of the pad as smooth surface that allows the mouse to glide quickly over the entire mouse pad without hindrance. Perfect for games that demand fast reactions. And while yes, this mouse pad does give a smooth glide, it also has good control. To put it into perspective, the LåneSpeLare performance is very similar to an Artisan Zero and the Xten mouse pad. Now in terms of durability, we can't say for sure how long the Ikea pad will last, but during the 2 weeks we used heavily, it has shown minimal wear on the edges with very little fraying, and the glide has basically stayed the same. Very impressive. Now you can get the LåneSpeLare mouse pad in two sizes, the small square measuring at 438mm in length, 355mm in width, and 6.35mm in thickness, and a desk pad size one with a cool design measuring at 889mm in length, 381mm in width, and a thickness of 6.35mm. Now, I don't know why they said this mouse pad is 6mm thick, as it doesn't really look like it, to be honest. It seems more like a 3.5mm, maybe to a 4mm in thickness. Yeah, this mouse pad is not as thick as you think, nor is it as squishy. The best part about the Ikea pad is its price. The small square will run you about $10, and a desk pad is $15.99, which is just insane. This mouse pad is very cheap in price, but that doesn't mean it's cheap in performance. So, is it worth the money? Is it really worth 2 hot and ready pizzas? Let's get right into the video.
Alright, so I don't know if I pronounced the name right, LåneSpeLare or something like that, but this is the Ikea pad, right? So this mouse pad came out to be around $7 when we bought them. I don't know, I guess due to inflation or whatever, the price has gone up to $10, right?
All the hype around it.
Yeah, exactly. So first off, let me give a quick shout out to Good Enough Tech Reviews, because he's the one that actually put this mouse pad on the map, and this mouse pad is actually freaking banging for the price. Now I know it was $7 when we bought it, but even at $10, dude, it's a freaking steal, dude.
Yeah.
So before I get into experience, let's talk about a little bit of the dimensions of the mouse pad. So the dimensions of the mouse pad are 355 by 430, I believe, correct? Yeah. The thickness is around the same as the Xten and the Zero, right? About
Yeah,
3
I would say
millimeters
about
thick.
3 millimeters. Yeah, it's not that thick, but yeah.
Yeah, it does not have any stitch edges, so I don't know if you guys out there who like stitch edges. Yeah, this one doesn't have any, but you know what's crazy? It didn't irritate me really when I was using it.
No, this is one of the mouse pads that the stitch edging is like really soft. It's actually not sharp at all.
Nah.
So I think anybody who's kind of concerned about that shouldn't have to be, honestly.
Nah, and they do have another desk pad version,
Yeah.
right? That one's bigger, so I guess if you don't like the stitch edges, you could get something bigger and you won't run into that issue. But they do have a bigger version of this mouse pad. This mouse pad, the bigger version is about like $15.
27?
No, it's
Is
actually
it?
$15.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, like $15, yeah. So we got it shipped to our house, right? But it came in this big giant box. So these mouse pads, they come out flat. You have to, when you buy them, you pick them up at the store, they're flat, right? But they ship them on this giant freaking
unnecessary box, like
yeah.
really unnecessary. So
yeah, so if I'm being honest, I would not recommend you guys ordering it to your house. If you have an IKEA nearby, just go pick it up.
Yes.
And go pick up 2 while you're at it, because we paid around, it was like around $60 for the price of 2. You could go ahead, you could, that's, the shipping will be for the price of 2. So I'd rather just do that and go down there, and you go ahead and I guess save the environment while you're at it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so for $7, this mouse pad's freaking banging. Oh wait, another thing, the base. You know what's crazy? The base on this thing is something that I've never seen before.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen it like in any mouse pad, so it's kind of has like a unique texture, I guess, and like
it's different
print on it. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's about as grippy as your generic standard grip, right? But it's a lot.
I mean,
different.
it works. You know what I mean? I haven't run into any issues with it.
It's
so
super grippy. Okay, I'll
good.
tell you this. You know how Ultra Plus has slippery base?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, no, this is actually really freaking firm.
Really firm. Really
zero complaints, right? On the base. So our experience with the mouse pad, right? So for a $7 pad, right, or $10 pad, this thing is actually pretty freaking bang. As a matter of fact, we compared it with 2 other mouse. We compared it with the Zero and the Xten, and let me tell you, dude, the performance between the 3 is actually pretty goddamn similar, right?
Yeah, like very, very similar. I remember I used this mouse pad for a week.
Yes.
I was even streaming with it, and I liked it, honestly. And then after a while, I started using the Zero, because I was like, this, I don't know, it's something about it kind of reminded me of the Zero.
Yes.
So I used the Zero for like 2 days, and then I used the Xten for 2 days.
Yes.
And then I went back to this. And the transition from using a Zero to the IKEA pad to the Xten, they were all very similar. It was a very smooth transition. I didn't have to adjust anything, really. I was playing really well with all 3 pads.
Yes.
And the reason being, I feel like it's because all 3 pads have almost like the similar speed.
Yes.
So the Zero and the Xten are just ever so more slightly faster than the IKEA LåneSpelar.
Yes.
But they both have this like heaviness to them. Like, I mean, like all 3 have this type of like control heaviness to them. That kind of makes them very, very similar. So again, transitioning from a Zero to an IKEA pad, or to an IKEA pad to an Xten, and vice versa, they all feel very similar in terms of like performance, speed, and like control.
They do feel very, very freaking similar. To me, I was thinking that the Xten was a little slower, like just a touch slower than the freaking Zero, than the freaking the IKEA LåneSpelar. I'm not gonna lie, the performance are super freaking similar.
They're really similar.
The only thing that I guess will make it stand out will be the durability in this, right? Because it's pretty consistent during the humidity, right? It was hot, right? Yeah. Because this one did get affected by humidity a little bit. I would say it would get
but not even a whole lot, honestly.
Not even a whole lot. Like out of the 3, the IKEA does get affected by humidity just a little bit more. But even then, it's not even a whole lot. Like I didn't find myself slowing down like a Longton, for example. That thing gets affected by humidity.
Yeah, it does.
Big time, right?
Yeah.
Nah, this one was actually, even though it got a little bit slower, I was still able to play pretty consistent with it. So, Carlos, for $7, dude, why should people go out and get these other mouse pads?
it's like a hard sell. Honestly, it's a real hard sell now that we know about the IKEA LåneSpelar.
Yes.
It's I guess it's like this, right? Like now, granted, this is a $7-10 pad.
Yes.
I don't think the durability on this is gonna hold up to something like a Zero
right,
or to an Xten, right? Clearly,
Agreed,
right?
yeah, agreed.
So I guess if you want something that will last you a really long time, you know you get a Zero and you get an Xten.
Yes.
But my thing is this, like, the reason why Zeros are really popular, and I would recommend a Zero over an Xten a lot more, is because the Xten is just $100, right? There's no need for a cloth mouse pad to be $100. Like, I'm sorry, I think the Xten mouse pad's a good pad, right?
Yes.
I don't think we never say anything wrong about it, but just that price, no, I will never recommend anybody to get it because you just don't need it, right?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I remember I put these 2 mouse pads in front of my wife, and I told her to try them. Like, hey, which one feels different, or what are the similarities, or what are the differences? She couldn't tell. She really couldn't tell. And when I told her the price difference, she was like, "Why? Why?" She looked at me like I was crazy. Like, why'd you spend $100 on this mouse pad when you have this one for $7? Like, exactly. This is why it's hard to go ahead and recommend really expensive mouse pads. The only reason we will ever recommend a really expensive mouse pad is if you already know what you like, and you want a more premium version of that mouse pad. For example, I think Good Enough Tech Reviews also compare this with the Vaxi PB, I believe. The new mouse pad.
The PB.
And he said the performance are basically identical. The only difference is that the PB feels a lot more premium. And I'm not gonna lie, I like this mouse pad enough to go ahead and try the Vaxi PB. I think I'm gonna pick it up just because I like the performance on the IKEA pad a lot. And that's the reason why we will go ahead and recommend expensive mouse pads. But for the best bang for your buck, dude, I ain't gonna lie. All the mouse pads we've tried, all the mouse pads we've tried, the Focus 3, the freaking what else? The Focus 3, the Gigantus V2, for example.
V2.
A bunch of mouse pads out there that we've tried, right? Out of all of them, this has to be the best bang for your buck.
This one takes it.
And you have to go get it at IKEA, dude.
Yeah,
IKEA.
I would have never thought it would be IKEA will make a really banger mouse pad, but they did, honestly. I will say this, the durability on this still feels pretty good.
It still feels pretty good too, yes.
I haven't felt any slow spots after 2 weeks of use, of hard, heavy use, by the way.
It's starting to fray like a tiny little bit.
It is starting to fray on the edges, I was going to point that out, again, like, on surface-wise, I guess, it still feels kind of
new.
Kind of new.
Yes.
So it's safe to say I think this thing's going to last quite a long time before we just have to throw it away, but
correct. Sorry to interrupt. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you say this mouse was in collaboration with like
I don't know, Aces or something like that. I think Good Enough Tech Reviews told me that too, that they're in collaboration with them. I don't know. I'll try to find it. If not, whatever. But either way, it's an IKEA pad. It's just branded as an IKEA pad. So,
dude, I'm not gonna lie. If you guys went to an IKEA and you guys bought your first mouse pad there,
good job. You did
a really good job. I'm not gonna lie, but if you did buy an IKEA pad, this was your first mouse pad. If you guys actually went out there and bought different mouse pads, you'd probably be upset because a lot of the qualities of these big brand mouse pads, they're not. They're not as good as
you just can't beat the price. You can't. What you're getting $7 for a really good pad. Like, dude,
good quality.
Like we are recommending. So this pad is getting. How do you call it? We are basically comparing a $60 and $100 mouse pad to a $7 pad, and we're saying that this is really good, and it holds up to these two, honestly.
Yeah.
Like it really does in terms of performance, quality. Obviously, Artisan beats it. Xten beats it, right? I'm not saying that, but performance-wise and what you're getting, this is just kind of hard to argue, honestly.
So I guess it's safe to say that this is the king of budget.
110%. This is the best bang for you. Like, who goes out and buys a QCK now? Seriously, like, not that this is a thing, dude. QCKs, because how they're like $10 too or something. Yeah, this is
1,000%,
way better.
Yeah. So IKEA, great job. I can't believe you guys have a hidden gem like this. So that's pretty much it, guys. Links to everything's will be down below. This is Gus
and Carlos from Hardware Unplugged.
And we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.